Well, this is a weird video. I don't know quite how to even title it, but I guess victory of a sort. So SPTV Foundation, the channel, this gets a little confusing. So somebody created a channel called SPTV Foundation, and they got Aaron and Nora, and yes, even the Maho, Marilyn Hornick, and her crotchety coffee crafty thingy. They got all kinds of upset and thought they had the high ground and started to try to take down the channel, which they temporarily succeeded. But the channel's back up. It's been vindicated. The process is over. There was a challenge about the content, quote, violating copyright. And I can only go from my own memory, but now the old videos are back. But from my memory, no, they didn't do that. They did what you should do properly, transform the content, and then relay it. Now, YouTube is a little weird and funny that they want transformation to be done a certain way. I've learned this through very hard experience that, well, I edited the video, I did this, I definitely transformed the material, but they're like, okay, yeah, technically you transformed it, but you can't monetize it. And I'm like, but I did transform it. It's like, don't matter. So YouTube is very weird in particular about what they mean by transformation. I doubt it even holds up in court, but they do make the rules. And I want to play devil's advocate that just because they've been found guilty by YouTube does not mean they are technically guilty. It just means the YouTube system finds they had no basis for their complaining. So there you go. But YouTube itself is not the best system. But here's an actual case where it seems the rules actually made sense. They worked out, and there was a really ugly attempt at censorship. So there's just something wrong with this period. Like, these were not videos meant to character assassinate or even maliciously malign them. This is really just using their own words, their own videos to show their hypocrisy, their lying, their grifting. Aaron, Nora, and Maho there didn't like it, so they tried to get rid of the channel, which of course just exposes what the channel was trying to expose. Namely, like, well, why are you trying to hide these things? It's from your channel. This is you. This is you speaking. So are you refuting yourself? Do you not trust your own videos? It was all very bizarre, all kinds of silliness. And at least one of the parts of the dark age is over, that the SBTV community, they don't like you, they will try to censor you. Well, there are limits. Again, within a boundary, yeah, they can complain. They can even complain to YouTube, but come on, really? Really? So what's the upside downside? Well, in the interim period, to use some fancy Latin, the other channel was created, which is SBTV. I know it gets a little hard to follow because SBTV is the official title that Aaron is using for his foundation. Also, SPTV actually means Sony Television. Apparently, Aaron, being stupid, didn't realize that Sony Television already has that title. And boy, if he thinks this was bad, I can only imagine, and again, I'm not saying I'm going to do it, I'm not saying you should do it, but I think the Sony people will eventually be calling his number and saying, yeah, we trademarked that. It's ours. That's infringement. You're gonna have to change the name there. So he may have to change the name of SPTV Foundation to something more accurate, like, Aaron's second bank account, because that's what it is. It's just another bank account, which I guess for IS purposes he can pretend. Oh, that's the SPTV bank account. It's not my bank account. It's I control the bank account, but no, it's a foundation's bank account. So anyway, bank account and his friends are all kind of mad that their lives are getting exposed. So the solution is always pretty simple: stop lying. It's not hard. Stop lying. But that is what they do in their content a lot. They lie, they lie, they lie, they lie. And when they get caught, they get really vicious and angry when the lies are exposed. I just did a video on Nora where apparently if you expose her lying, you're a rapist, child slaver, and you're David Miscavige's, I don't know, second in charge of demonic studies at the Scientology building. I don't know. It's all kinds of silliness. But the good thing here is, again, it's fine if they have issues with the criticism, just counteract it with your own criticism. But don't try to shut down a channel. Like, that right away is a red flag. You're doing Scientology all over again. What's really shocking is that Aaron on his channel was complaining and whining and moaning. Oh my goodness, they're trying to take down my Jessica Palmadessa, my Streets LA. Miss Cabbage, what are you doing? This is fair commentaries on the YouTube. My SPTV families, what is happening? The channel went down. We all need to gather together to bring back the channels. As usual, his whining and moaning, not exactly accurate. And I will agree that the Scientology people were being a little silly. Like they were playing Taylor Swift music and then trying to claim, oh, you're infringing on the rights of Taylor Swift. We must follow the copyright and take down your channel. I mean, it was really bizarre and silly. And although I'm not a big fan of the SPTV people or most of the squirrel people, yeah, that's pretty dumb and lame to try to take down the channels on such thin ground. I mean, there's many grounds to take them down on, frankly, because they are not exactly obeying the law in all cases, but that's another story for another time. But still, really? Copyright? Really? Taylor Swift? I mean, come on. Come on. This is a little silly. But guess what? Aaron got it into his big brain. Hey, oh, the copyright. Yeah, I don't like this channel. Oh, let me use the same technique of the Scientologist. Well, I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator. And if Aaron is a good hustler, he's got his audience, he's making that money, good on him. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like what he's up to, but a hustler is a hustler and he will hustle. I just find it extraordinary. He literally tried to do the same thing Scientology did. No sense of hypocrisy. He says, guys, I had no choice. They were stealing my content, the copyright, the sacredness of the copyright. Imagine that. Well, Aaron, what if it was the case that they were violating copyright? Do I think that really matters? No, not really. We all know it's very cynical. Even if copyright is, quote, a legitimate issue, it is being used to censor people because they don't want certain information to get out there. Now, again, I don't care what the SBTV squirrel people put out there. It's not that good anyway. But Scientology does not have the right to censor them because they're annoying them. Because, again, we have forums. Scientology has its own channel. You have issues with their content, you can counteract it with your own criticism. That's how it should go. But again, instead of taking his own medicine properly, Aaron's like, I'm moving on now, guys. We're going to go back to the old channel. So basically, your censorship campaign failed. So we're going to move back to the old ways. We're still going to do the same thing, right? So YouTube is out. They can't use that anymore. So I'm guessing what? They're going to create their own Reddit, pumping up their own propaganda? Is Maho going to start creating fake channels and do more reporting that way? I don't know. Because I know these guys, they don't quit. If they get slapped down and said, that's illegal, you can't do that, guess what? They're just going to find another illegal method. I mean, again, these people came from Scientology, and even Marilyn, who was not a Scientologist, but came from a really extreme cult. Yeah, these cult survivors have a very weird idea of surviving the cult. Their idea of surviving a cult is, let's create a new cult and make it slightly more vicious and ugly and stupid, but it's more low rent. Like Scientology is like a 4 billion fraud. Let's be generous. Probably Aaron has what, maybe 40,000 in the bank, so it's like a 40,000 fraud, not a 4 billion fraud, 40,000 fraud. But it's still a fraud. It's really annoying. And thankfully here, YouTube did the right thing and restored the channel. And hopefully other channels that challenge him will be fine. It's fine. You can do two things. You can still like some of Aaron's work when he does good work and dislike it when it does bad work. Two things are true. Two things can be true. And Aaron is going to have to live with that, as will the Maho and Nora. But I expect Nora will be the least one to accept this, and she's going to go bat crazy again and lie to her audience, and I'll be here to correct those lies. Thank you for listening.